Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Raising the Bar podcast. So happy to have you guys back with us. Oh, let me
Hola.
adjust myself here.
Right. That's what la 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 la. Okay.
Yes. All right. So today we are discussing boundaries. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it last week, and we said that we were going to come back this week and talk about boundaries.
Yes.
So, Stephanie, I'm going to kick it out to you. Like, what
Okay.
are boundaries?
Hey y'all. We're back and I'm excited because this is kind of a really good topic. I am stellar with boundaries. That's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do, boundaries, okay? And so last week, oh, okay, quick housekeeping. So we're not doing a podcast next week. Next week is spring break for the children. I have one of the kids here now. He's under the table, y'all. So if y'all hear him while we're doing this, he's under here. I told him it was a tent because he have to be by me all the time. So he's under here, and then so next week we'll skip next week because all the kids are home and y'all aren't gonna want to hear that. And then okay, that was it. Boundaries. So we left off last week with 550 credit score is not something that I would be into, and I would like to build off of that. I would like to start there. And so let me tell you why. My credit score has been shot before, and I think I honestly can't remember how low it would go. I think 575 was the lowest I've ever seen, and that would be like the lowest I would like to ever see because that right there was stressful for me. And I had just filed bankruptcy, and so my point last week of saying that 550 could not get in the sheets with me was because what are you doing? I mean, if I could just sum it up really quickly, what are you doing? And I need you to be able to carry us and the legacy. And I want you to do better than me. So that wouldn't be acceptable to me for those reasons. So I just wanted to kind of clear that
Mhm.
up. That was kind of resting
But
on.
if he could give like an explanation to why his credit score is like that, like does that make a difference? Like if he can say, okay, this is what happened and this is what I'm doing to correct it, does that make a difference, or does
At
it he's got to be
no, I don't really want to hear it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
At this stage in my life, in my
Yeah, yeah.
I will accept your explanation. I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year, y'all. At this stage in my life, just the mountains I'm trying to climb, I would like to not hear about it. I don't want to hear about what you plan to do at 36 years old.
Mhm.
I want to hear about what are you doing. And I tell people all the time, you can't fall in love um, with people who are trying. They're like, oh girl, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and then when he get there, he's sleeping on the couch. He always on the couch sleep. That ain't matching, bruh.
Right.
So at this stage, no, I will not
Mhm.
accept explanations because again, you have to do better than me. You have to bring something to the table that I don't already bring myself. And those are called boundaries. You can call it gold digger, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But today, for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to call it boundaries, and it is working for me.
Right. Yeah, and that definitely is a boundary. And boundaries, they look different for everybody,
Right.
right? It's your boundary because first of all, okay, what is technically a boundary? A boundary is, you are setting your expectations, right? What do you expect? What will you tolerate? What are your needs, right? That is the core of what a boundary is you identifying your needs, your expectations, and what you need in order to be fulfilled or be well, or whatever the case may be. And you have to communicate that to the person that you're in a relationship with. So once you identify it, like you said, like you're like, I need to be with someone who knows what they're doing. Like,
Ex-
like you can't be trying, you got to be doing something. That is your boundary, and that is perfectly fine because you have identified that that is what is going to help you be well and help you to be the best that you can be on your end by having a partner that knows what they need to be doing.
And it's not to say that life won't happen, y'all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if we hook up and this is a first date, I am not going to pursue the relationship if you're at that stage in your life, because really, according to some statistics, it depends on like Stefan Speaks and all these other people. If you listen, he's not ready for a relationship, you know? Okay. So why do we need boundaries, Nisha? Why are boundaries?
Right. So definitely the reason why you need boundaries is, for one, it definitely helps with communicating. Even though, yes, you have to communicate your boundaries, but it also helps with communication.
Clear
And
communication. It's
mhm,
precise, clear.
exactly, you have to be clear and assertive with your boundaries and communicating those boundaries, because I can tell you a lot. I feel that in relationships, marriages, or whatever, a lot of arguments or tension or bad energy, it starts from not communicating your boundaries. And not only not communicating your boundaries, not even knowing that you need boundaries.
Right,
And that
right.
starts with you not knowing yourself, and that is, I think that stems a lot of strife and things in relationships. So definitely it helps with communicating, and also it helps with, like, just feeling safe and secure in a relationship, because and it goes both ways, whether you are setting boundaries or your partner is setting boundaries. If your partner doesn't have boundaries, you don't know how to dance with them. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like,
Yes, it
you
makes so much
don't
sense.
know what they will tolerate and what they can't or won't. And the thing, and I don't know, maybe this is just a testimony of myself, but I know as a woman, we can definitely test boundaries. And I think we do that not in a malicious way. Yes, some women, they may test boundaries in a malicious way, but I think that women do test boundaries of the man they're with, just to see where
How
where
far can we take it?
how far can we take it?
Can
How
we pump you out, or you gonna stand up and be a man? Which one?
exactly.
And those are
Yes.
important too, because you don't want nobody that you can
Just
beat
walk
and
over.
over. No,
Yeah, you don't want nobody you can walk all over, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to know that he is going to stand up for himself, and he's going to have that boundary set to where he's gonna be like, "Okay, no. That's too far."
boundaries.
You know what I mean? That's boundaries. Like, we need that, and he needs the same thing as well. He needs to know that you have boundaries, because he is going to test your boundaries as well too. And so, if you don't if you don't set those boundaries, yeah, he can overstep them all day long, so it goes both ways. So yeah. So those are
Okay,
important
so
things.
let's say, how do I think the first thing is that boundaries are super important to begin early. The earlier the better, because
Mm,
like she said, that's the foundation for your communication in a relationship. It's like let's just say, for me, and an example for me in relationships I have, where i I am pretty chill. I don't really, I'm not really bothered by much, but what I don't like is you can't have babies on me, you can't bring STD home, and you can't beat on me. So those are
mhm.
like automatic dismissals, like we don't talk if these three things occur. Okay. We don't talk. We're not going to discuss it. We're not going over it. You're out. Okay. That's it. So that's just kind of knowing what is important to me. And I think it goes back to what you said, knowing yourself. You kind of have began to understand what you like and how you like it. If that does that make sense?
Mhm. Right, it does. And like for me, like one of the boundaries that I have in my relationship is I don't tolerate infidelity,
Yeah.
and you would be amazed that, that is something you have to talk about early on in a relationship. You have to talk with the person that you're dating, if you guys are going to decide to, if you're moving towards, for the long haul or taking it one day at a time. Those are conversations that need to happen, because what is infidelity to you? Because what's infidelity to you isn't infidelity to them, is flirting, having, friends of the opposite sex. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are conversations that definitely need to happen, and they need to be communicated, you know?
Um, so let me say this. Okay, so opposite sex. I know Nisha's view on it, but I would like for her to talk to y'all about it because like I said, I'm chill. I have 3 things that get you automatically dismissed besides credit score. But to me, y'all, my son's right here, like staring in my face. So to me, I don't mind opposite sex friends. Can you take her to dinner outside of work? I mean, like if you have somebody you want to talk to at work and it makes your day go by faster, I am completely okay with that. As a matter of fact, you could take her down to the lunchroom. I don't know if I care. I don't know if I mind you paying or not. I don't know. That's kind of like a blurry line for me. But I don't mind that. But what you cannot do is take her down to Captain D's. You can't take her to Mickey D's. You can't take her anywhere outside of work. Okay. So I guess that would be like a work friendship. I really don't want her calling your phone. It's inappropriate. And if I call and you're sitting there in front of her, you better pick up and say, "Hey, babe," and talk to me as long as I want to talk. Okay. So that
Right.
lets me know that there's nothing there, but I'm trying to get through my work day.
Mhm.
I don't, I'd rather it not, but I'm also okay if it is,
Yeah.
but you should give your take on that. Y'all, this is really
Okay.
good. Don't play about
Now,
it.
yeah, I don't play about stuff like that, but, my thing is ultimately respect, that's like the number one thing, and I don't mind, female friends and things like that because, I mean, you had friends before me and they'll probably be here after me. So it'll be ridiculous for me to say, like, okay, well, now that we're in a relationship, you have to cut all your friends off. No, that's not where it is. But
Right.
what I don't tolerate is, just doing things that I'm unaware of, you know what I mean? Taking that friendship too far, and my thing is that you should know what friends do and what people in relationships do. Take going out to dinner without me. No. I don't like
Inappropriate.
that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's a bit inappropriate. But if I know about it, I'm okay with it. It is what it is. And of course, you have to have that trust of your partner too. You know what I mean? If I know, like, okay, yeah, this is just a friend, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
But
And she shouldn't
it
call your
it
phone
has to
and
be
you
respected. Yeah, like, if she call you and she got a flat tire somewhere and you jump up like super quick fast, like faster than you would jump up for me, that's like,
yeah, it's questionable.
That's questionable. But, of course, if you have a female friend and she needs help and she calls you because she needs help, then that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't
But
know,
she needs
maybe, and
help
I guess
on the
my
phone
view on female friends too is because, like, I have a lot of sisters, right? So my sisters are like my friends. So, and my husband is like their brother friend, whatever. So I don't know. I don't mind
though.
it,
Sister and the lady from work is different. It's
Yeah.
it's
Now, one thing I will say that I think is inappropriate is don't you should not be cooking for my man. No.
weird.
If you
It's
cook
weird.
something, it's for all of us. Like,
Right.
no, you're not cooking just
Right.
for him. I think that is a bit inappropriate.
It is very inappropriate. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So let's go back a little couple of steps. It says knowing yourself. How do you begin to build these boundaries and knowing yourself? So different ways to kind of understand yourself are asking questions like, what do you like? What's important to you? Like I said, being established is important to me. Not stepping out on me is important. And then, what do you consider fun in games? For example, if he is very, Oscar is very vocal. Like he plays, like he talks so much. I'm like, and I'm kind of a like, I talk, obviously. We have a whole
Mhm.
podcast here. But sometimes I like quiet time and he be like, he has like comebacks like on 100. So you need to know, like, hey, I don't like your jokes. Say that in the beginning. We're 6 years
Mhm.
in now. It's kind of late. I can't say your jokes. Cut it.
You
Because
can.
it
You can say it now. I mean, it's important to establish those things early on, but
early.
of course, it's like if you're gonna spend your life together, you know what I mean? You're gonna change over time, like who knows? Like in the next 5 years, you're gonna be like, man, like I miss your corny jokes, you don't know.
I doubt
But
it.
people, I just say that to say, you change over time,
You
so you
do.
can develop new boundaries, and that's why it's important to communicate.
And develop new boundaries. I
Mhm,
agree with her 100%, but that is hard to do sometimes.
mhm,
Sometimes because y'all have known each other for so long, it's kind of hard for them to catch on. But I think it leads back to the same thing. Know yourself, know when you're able to implement new boundaries and say, babe, and learn how to communicate. Oh my gosh, it's all kind of leading in case y'all, it's communicate. So you're learning how to communicate with your partner in an effective way, saying, babe, I don't like when you say it like that, or I don't
mhm.
like when you do it like that.
That's a good I statement for communication. Yeah, that's
It's kind of
wonderful.
kindergarten, honestly,
Mhm.
but keep it kindergarten. These men, they don't like complex stuff, man. I'm telling you. The key I've learned is don't try to make it complex. Just basic stuff for them, and they will respond appropriately. And if you read Five Love Languages, that's a really good book. I'm always talking about book nuggets over here, y'all. So y'all need to get these little nuggets that I be talking about because that's how I'm learning how to climb this ladder. It's books. Like
Mhm.
it really tells you how to do this. People have trailblazed the way, and you don't have to know. You don't have to know how to effectively communicate. Read a book.
Right, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, like, is
No,
the information
Audible.
is out there, like, we are
It is.
in the age of information, so it's
YouTube, Audible,
Google,
Barnes and
yeah.
Nobles. I'm old school, so you might find me at Barnes and Nobles, but there's several different ways, and I love Audible too. But there's several different ways to learn how do I effectively communicate? What do I learn? What do I need to learn about myself so that I could tell him I don't like it. I
Mhm,
don't like that, and I won't tolerate that. And that just becomes another thing. Step three is confidence. Just have
mhm.
the confidence to know, y'all. I'm learning where the camera is.
Mhm.
have the con- have the confidence to know and state your boundaries, and don't back down on those boundaries because you're afraid of what may happen. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like state those boundaries and stand on them. Stand on in confidence. Like I don't like this, or I don't want this for myself. I don't want this for our relationship. It's not going down. And if that means that I have to lose you for the night or for a lifetime, that's the confidence that you stated for
mhm.
yourself. That's the boundary and the legacy that you're protecting for
Mhm.
yourself.
Right. And that's maintaining your well-being as well because if you have this boundary that you want to set and you're being assertive about it and the person decides like, "Oh, well, I don't want to respect that," and leave or try to punish you or whatever, it's up to you to have that confidence to say, "I'm not going to put up with that. I love myself enough to let you go." So
Right.
that's very important. And I know a lot of times, people can find themselves in situations where they want to set a boundary because this behavior or situations or whatever they have with this person is causing them stress, anxiety, and not conducive to their well-being, but they are afraid to speak up about it and to set that boundary and to communicate with their partner about what's going on because they are afraid, and that fear is a sure sign of a lack of confidence.
Right.
So you have to honor yourself. You have to love yourself enough to stand up for yourself and not be afraid of the consequences that this other person may choose to put on you, because
Right.
the
And
worst consequences is your well-being, is you compromising your own well-being, and you are solely responsible for yourself. So
yes.
that's where your loyalty needs to lie and not with the other person.
Period.
Mhm.
Period.
Period.
it is definitely something. I don't know. I don't want to beat the horse, so let's move
Mhm.
on. Okay,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Oscar was asking me, and I'm gonna start calling him my husband from now on, y'all. Just it's simple. We prophesy, we speak it into
Mhm.
existence. That's who we'll talk about from now on. So, anyways, he asked me a couple of questions. I was telling him about boundaries, and that's the next thing we'll talk about. And he was like, "Well, so in a relationship," he said, "well, how far is too far? You know, like what do you do to please your mate and still you be happy, your boundaries, but they're happy too. You got to make sure that they're pleased and they're happy. So what's too far? Like where do you draw that line? Where does the line come into play? Um, and you say,
Mhm. That's a
here's
good
a safe
question.
boundary for both of us. You
Yeah,
want to
that's
try
a good question, and that will be determined by the 2 parties in that relationship, and, and of course, by those boundaries too. And also comes with compromising too, because sometimes, we can have a hard no to some things. It's like, that is a no, absolutely not, da, 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 da. And sometimes you have to kinda go back to yourself and be like, "Okay, can I, give up on this a little bit, because my partner is communicating to me that they need X and I am like anti X,
right,
right?
right.
And they're saying they need this, but you love that person, right? And you are
Yep.
trying to work it out. So you have to go back and convene with yourself to say, okay, is this something that I could tolerate a little bit? Is there could I give a limit on this? Is it something to move on? That's where that compromising comes in, which also involves communication.
Yes, yes.
You know, it
Okay.
involves communicating with that person.
I 100% agree, and I think to learn, like you said, each relationship is different. So don't try to base your relationship and your boundaries. And this is even boundaries for yourself, y'all. We're even talking about your personal boundaries too. We're just kind of tying it into relationship because I think it's a little easier to tackle.
Mhm.
But everybody is going to look different. Don't try to compare what you tolerate unless you're tolerating abuse. I mean, that should be standard. I think I gave standard, basic, healthy relationship boundaries. But other than that, things will look pretty different for you. What you can do and what you can handle in your relationship will be completely different than what I can handle. That's why God made so many of us, because he know that little Jimmy down there is going to be different from little I don't know,
Timmy.
little Timmy. Timmy and Timmy. It's gonna look different, but that's okay. And that's where coming in, and I'm driving this home, coming in, knowing yourself and knowing what you like and what you think is fun and what you think is important in your relationship. Y'all, this is Micah.
Hi. Hey,
But
handsome.
let, oh, need to my hey. Um,
So adorable.
So just to drive it home, like I
Mhm,
said, communication is going to be important and knowing yourself so that you can have well-being. Because I don't know if y'all have ever been stressed before, but that's not a good look. It don't look good
mhm,
on you. It doesn't look good on the relationship. Confidence is sexy. What's sexy
mhm,
is that you have communicated with him your needs and he has been able to communicate with you his needs. And y'all, like you said, you're dancing. You've created this place where y'all can dance in harmony, and of course there's going to be some resistance because we're different, but you're trying to come together and create a place of harmony. I think is the drive home message for today. And I think I
mhm.
can kind of,
Yeah.
I'm closing out on
Mhm,
my end. How you want a closing remark?
mhm. That's good too, and I guess, maybe touch on, like, what do you do when your boundaries are violated? And I think
Oh,
that, this kinda goes beyond just in a relationship, because I think in relationships,
and work.
it's in a way, it's a little easier maybe to kind of, deal with, your boundaries being violated, because a conversation is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, outside of, like a romantic
What happened?
relationship, like with friendships or, at work, like, what do you do if your boundary has been violated, One of those things is that you definitely have to reinforce your boundaries, and reinforcing your boundaries is all about just restating what your boundaries are and being assertive, and to also just take, and that's the action part about it is, stating your boundaries, letting this person know this is what it is. And I guess I bring up about boundaries being violated because I've had my boundary violated before, you know what I mean? And I am like the I don't know. I feel like I'm a sweet person. Like I'm not the type of person that is like, no, you're not, I'm not one of those people, right? I'm kind of like I'll just simply tell you what I will and won't do. And it's up to you to take it from there. And a lot of times it's verbal cues from me, it's verbal cues,
Right.
or, just behavior cues from me. Like once I tell you, okay, this is what this is, and you keep overstepping those boundaries. But back
So
to
let me ask you a
having
question. Do you
uh
feel like you effectively communicated those?
mhm.
Did you
Right, and that's another
listen?
thing too. Yeah, and that's another thing I had to learn too because I'm so like laid back and like to myself, and I'm the type of person that I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, that being assertive looks different on me than it would someone else. Like, when you think of assertiveness, that's like I am going to tell you from, clear no, like a hard
That's
no.
me.
Like,
That's me. It's like it's no, period.
like
And I'm looking
my
at you like,
no may be like, well, I have, this and that to do, so I don't think I may be able to get to that today. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like a no to me. And like for someone else hearing that, they may not hear that as a no, right?
yeah, that sounds like a possible to me. So
Right.
to
It
me,
sounds
I
like possible.
received that as a
Hmm.
strong possible. Just like when you play
Hmm.
in spades, that was a strong possible for me.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm the type of
Exactly.
person, I have the personality that says, tell me no. That's
Hmm.
why it's clear, concise.
Yeah.
Be assertive. No,
Mhm. Right,
no.
because like, could you, you come across people that they say like, "Oh, like, they're gonna have to tell me no," like and there are people out there, they're like, "You have to tell me no," like, whatever, or, "I can't do it this weekend because I'm going to be out of town, and I don't know, what my schedule is gonna look like, for the next few weeks," right? Like, that is a no to some people, right? Because it's like, okay, you asked if I could do this thing this weekend, and I'm going to be out of town and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it. That sounds like a no. But to some people, it's like, no, like you have to tell me no. So I guess one thing that I want to ask too is it on the responsibility of the person who is setting the boundaries to clearly state no or yes or whatever that boundary is? Or is it somewhat on the responsibility of the person that's receiving the boundary to kind of understand those cues? Like, because I feel that that people have like certain cues that will kind of like, nicely let you down. Right? It's
No,
almost
like
like if a guy is trying to holler at you and he like,
it's
"Hey, Miss
no.
Shawty, hey, Miss Shawty," and you're just like,
No, it's a definite no. Now that you put little shorty on it. No.
but sometimes you can be out here hurting these men's feelings. I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad when,
It
men
hurts
are
my
trying to
feelings that
kind of
you
holler,
can't
but
speak to me like I'm a
yeah.
nice young lady. It hurts my feelings that
Mhm,
you can't do that. Let's answer
mhm,
your question real fast. So
yeah,
your question was, tell me one more time. Can't the Is it my responsibility or yours if you're setting a boundary? It is
right.
absolutely like Oprah said. I think the book is called. You'll have to let me look, but Oprah has a book
Mhm,
and she talks about how important it is for you to protect your energy, for you to
mhm,
state your boundaries, and these things are essential. I think it's called Sunday something. But it's important for you to portray that to people. It's important for you to show the confidence that a little shawty doesn't work for me. That's not how you get my attention. It's on you. I can't,
mhm.
how you comprehend is none of my business. But
Right.
it's not. I can't.
Right,
I can't.
exactly.
I can't. keep up with the comprehension level of everybody in this world. But what I can do is state clearly and
Mhm.
super precise, like no, yes. And like I said, for me, you gotta tell me yes and no, because otherwise I'll be
Right.
late. So I'll see you next
Be
week
like,
for another
say
round.
no. He didn't say
Right.
no. No.
Say no. So that
Right,
I'm the
exactly.
perfect example of why yes, no, that doesn't work for me.
Mhm.
Let me tell you why it doesn't work for me. If that person requires it. Some people are just like yes and no. When you tell me yes or no, I don't really need an explanation, but I do
Mhm.
need a precise yes or no,
Mhm.
because
Right,
that's how I
exactly.
am able to
Mhm.
run my life. And I think dealing with the type of people we're dealing with today, and I'm told y'all I'm only 35. I don't associate myself with this generation because they scare me. So yes and no in this generation today and how this world is functioning today, be precise, clear
Mhm.
yes and no's, like
Right.
sweetly.
And,
You can say yes and
and it may
no
take
sweetly.
time too because, I was a person that had to learn how to set those boundaries and be more assertive because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like everybody doesn't understand cues. Sometimes you may be able to get away with a cue, but not always, because there are people out there that need to know. And you have to be clear, concise, and assertive because, at the end of the day, you are your own protector. You are
Yes.
the one that's going to make sure that you are well. So you have to communicate that. And it is okay. Just know that it is okay. It's going to feel scary. It's going to feel like, you're being mean and it's going to feel like all those things. But when you really are self-aware, you know what you need and what you don't need and what you're going to tolerate, what you aren't going to tolerate, then that confidence will come and you can do
Yes.
it. You can do it. You
You
can
can
set
do
those
it.
boundaries.
You
Yes,
can
and
do it.
also respect other people's boundaries when they set them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it
Yes.
goes both
Okay.
ways. Mhm.
It
That's
does go both ways. It
It
does. It
does.
does. It does.
Yeah.
Okay. Oprah Winfrey. The book is called The Path Made Clear, and she kind of talks about protecting your energy and kind of making things where it's all about you.
Mhm.
So that's all I
Yeah.
got. Nisha,
Yeah.
that was good.
Awesome.
We're being precise, y'all. We're cutting this and precise and getting to the point for y'all too. So,
Absolutely.
um, anything else you want to add? Next week, we're
That's
skipping out on
it.
y'all next week. I'm sorry, we'll be back, but I promise y'all don't want 3 kids in the house and me trying to podcast. I promise. We
Right,
that.
exactly. And always remember to like, share, comment, subscribe to our
Yes,
Instagram page, which is
yes,
raisingthebar.pod. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, go ahead and join there at Raising the Bar. That's where we kind of keep everyone updated when we're going to do shows and things like that. And also follow us on YouTube at Raising the Bar dash pod, and also subscribe, share this
at the
with
bottom.
your family, friends, just share it. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you
All right.
everyone for
Thank you.
comment for coming and listening to us. Thank you for all the comments. We appreciate every one of you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Yes. Later.